Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Osborn. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned throughout the course of their business, share them with us so that we can learn from them as well. As always, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everyone hates. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or endless social media posting. To find out more, try to message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn, and the link to that will be in the show notes below. But on today's show, our special guest is Larissa Haynes. She is the owner of Quivet Consulting, where she provides people-first leadership consulting, so management consulting, coaching, and talent assessment. So Larissa, thanks so much for being on the show today. And I want to start off with asking you a question that I always love to start off with, which is this. If you were somehow able to go back in time when you started your business, but you knew what you know now, what would you do differently in the first 12 months?
I love this question because I actually had the opportunity to do that. The very
Oh,
first time I went out on my own was 2012. And I had an LLC called the Energy Center, and I was doing coaching and consulting. And I had that company for about 4 years and just really struggled, I'll be honest. It
mm,
was that was not a fun experience. I learned a lot, scraped my knees. Um, One of the biggest lessons I learned that when I came back and did it again with Quivet in 2020 was number one, I knew how to sell products. I didn't know how to sell me. I was really
mm,
uncomfortable with the idea that now what I was selling was me as a skill, right?
yeah,
Not,
yeah.
financial services products or so forth. And so doing the inner work to get okay with my value and what I brought and really learning how to sell that way was really important. That was one. The
Mm,
second, and I will freely admit, that 2008, 2010 time where people were talking a lot about leap and the net will appear. So I built no systems. I just went on vibes and
yeah.
learned really quickly that having clear established systems in place before really launching made
Mm,
a world of difference the second time around. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. So systems are, I think, a very underrated thing that people think, oh yeah, systems come when we're you know, X size or we have this number in revenue or number of clients. And then they wonder why things keep breaking all the time. you
Yeah.
know,
Or why you
yeah,
can't keep up with volume, right? Or,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. It's so interesting. But I love what you said at the piece before about, learning how to sell yourself and that self-belief and the inner work around that. And I think there is definitely a difference when you're just selling a product that you can almost disassociate yourself with. But when it comes to your thing, it can be quite a internal battle oftentimes to sell it because we underplay or undermine even our own value, which I think is a really an interesting thing we do as humans. So what did you do if you just and you probably did lots of stuff, but if you were to do one thing or what's the one thing you did that helped? Like what was the game-changing piece if you were to pick out one thing that helped you with that?
Yeah, I got radically honest with who I am, what I'm good at, and what I'm not good at.
Mm,
I sought feedback. I got really uncomfortable with that feedback sometimes. Um, And the things I wasn't good at, I either went and learned and got better, or I recognized like that's something I'm going to have to invest in. I'm going to hire other people or outsource that. I
yeah,
stopped trying to do it all myself, trying to prove that I
yeah,
could do it all myself. That was
yeah,
something I
yeah,
learned that was holding me back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very powerful. And I love that you said you're ruthlessly truthful with yourself. It's amazing that when you do that, how much stuff can be uncovered, and it can be scary, but it's actually quite freeing as well.
Um, that is the word. It's true freedom. It's
Yeah,
liberation from the shackles of self-belief, of limiting
yeah,
belief, right?
yeah,
If
yeah,
I own all the stuff about me, the stuff I like and the stuff I don't, it doesn't get to run the show anymore.
Yeah.
And so I get to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
decisions from discernment rather than from fear or judgment.
Love that. Love that. Making decisions from discernment. Everyone take notes. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, talking about growing and selling your own services, which is selling you. What's been the hardest part of scaling without becoming like salesy and spammy and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's so funny. I was having a conversation with a client this week who is now in this phase where he's getting really clear and he's gone out on his own and just kind of brought me back. Learning to not try to do it like everybody else does, right? So
Hmm.
the answers of how to scale for me did not exist outside of me. Um, Getting really authentic with my voice, getting really clear on the value I can provide and the value I can't. So saying no to some opportunities. So
Hmm.
when I prospect, I kind of just have a conversation. I'm not trying to sell, I'm trying to understand where are
Yeah.
you and does what I do and provide going to bring you where you want to go? If it does, cool. If it doesn't, I've got a whole host of people I might be able to refer you to. Um, so I would say, yeah, getting really clear on what it is that I provide, knowing that it's not for everybody. So I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just trying to share it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. When you look at that whole journey, what's been the one thing that you changed on how you build relationships that's made that, I know you said you don't sell, but made the selling or closing process feel easier for you?
Yeah, and it was so fun too. I went back to sort of a beginner's mind is the only thing that's coming to me right now, but I just wanted to talk to everybody. Right? I
Mm,
was doing this
yeah.
thing and I wanted to meet people. I wanted to hear people's stories. I wanted to know what was going on with people. Um, and so what was nice about, early 2020 when I started the business this time, people had some free time to talk, right? And so we were all home. And so I created calendar links and would put them out on LinkedIn and just be like, hey, book time and I will chat with you. Um, and so I just got really comfortable talking to anybody about
Mm,
anything, which was number one. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think that,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's the what I'm hearing from this, I'm kind of reading between some of the lines here, is that it is about the relationship side, the communication. You said earlier, finding out, is it even something I can help you out with, as opposed to just trying to sell or force someone to think that they need what you have. And I love that you just had that approach of, well, let's just talk, and those conversations then build up what you did, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
I think another piece too is that I was trained in a certain sales technique that is all about sort of asking the right questions, like getting really inquisitive, asking good questions, listening, which is very coaching, right?
Yeah.
So using my
Yeah.
coaching skills within that process and learning to get me and my stuff out of the way to really be able to hear between the lines. Because oftentimes people think they know what they want and they'll say, I'm looking for this. But when you can ask the right questions and hear beyond answers, that's where discernment can really come in of like, hey, it sounds like you might not be in alignment, but let me rephrase it, reframe it, and something will pop for them and then we'll be in alignment. Where I might have
Yeah.
lost that before if I was trying to push for a sale or.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I heard it once said like instead of trying to sell, you just become just obscenely curious,
Yeah.
you know? And you're just curious about what they are saying, and if it's a fit, it's a fit. If it's not, at least you're asking the questions to figure that out, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sorry, we're gonna say something else along those lines.
No, 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 just agreeing
No,
with you.
no.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, one of the other things that I love to ask on this is, we as business owners, we all go through challenges and have ups and downs in the business, and oftentimes we can internalize that, think it's just us who goes through that. No one else deals with these sorts of problems. And so I always like to ask the question of what's the number one biggest challenge that you faced in your business, and what's the lesson that you've learned from that?
Oh, this is very lonely. Or it can be, I should say that. And I am a very communal person. I'm a connector. I'm an external processor. I like to talk my problems through.
Mm,
Um, and again, that recognizing of like, I can't do this by myself. Even if it's mine, I can't do this by myself. So what I learned, again, first time I didn't do this, second round, really early on, one of the things I built was a community of other people who were up to what I was up to. So
mm,
not seeking advice from people who weren't in the arena with me, but other, solopreneurs, other small business owners, other coaches, just kind of creating my sort of board of advisors, um, and made it way less lonely.
yeah, yeah. It's such a such a clever thing to do. And again, one of those things that I think people, when you tell them, they're like, oh yeah, yeah, they kind of know it theoretically, but they don't do it. And it's like, well, if you're not doing it, it's not helpful. Like go out there, meet people. And I think it's really important because I have seen people do it where they say, oh yeah, I'm connecting with people, but they're not growth minded people. And it's like, well, you're just around complainers about business. Get around people that still have the same issues, but they look at it from a growth mindset on what they're looking at. And I think that makes all the difference in the world because then you're realizing, oh, we're all just growing together. We're going all from level to level to level. And it doesn't mean that there still aren't tough times, but at least you're not alone. And it's just I always think of it just a game. You just play in the next level of the game. So I think that's a really great thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, over the next 2 to 3 years, Larissa, what's the goal in the business? What would you like to achieve?
Ooh, yeah, that's the thing that makes me a little sweaty and nauseous, right?
Yeah.
What's been really nice is that I intentionally decided to move slowly with it this time. I like to go fast, I like to think big, and I realized that slow, measured consistency was going to be my friend. I'm
Mm,
now just about to hit 6 years in about a month, and it's still steady. All the systems, there's things that just work that I don't even have to show up and they work now, right? There's other people
yeah.
in place. So what's next is um, scale. Um,
Yeah.
Shifting a little bit of the focus too of what I'm doing, not from an offering standpoint, but from a depth standpoint. I think what people are looking for, organizations and leaders are looking for, has a bit more gravitas and depth in it now. So
Mm,
I'm getting louder about sharing that message. Um, I'm stepping into greater arenas of visibility. Um, there will be things on coming soon, actually. There's a book coming, there's a program and a framework coming out this year. Um,
nice.
that's all based on the self-awareness and how it needs to go beyond just an intellectual thought. That our self-awareness
Mm,
comes into our body first, actually. So when we can pay attention to our whole system, how do we lead from a regulated place? So a lot about
mm.
nervous system regulation, emotional agility, that sort of stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anyone listening to this that you kind of thinking, oh my God, what's Lister on about with all this stuff? Guys, listen, it's one of the most impactful things you can possibly understand about how your nervous system works and regulation and just understanding everything around your body and the somatic stuff that goes on with it. It's game-changing stuff and it's not hair fairy, it's not woo-woo. But if you actually learn how to tap into it, again, it's not some magical thing but when you actually learn it, it's game changing. So that's very exciting that you've got all that stuff coming out. And I'm a big proponent of all that stuff. So, but that's amazing. So, well, for people that are looking to learn more about you and maybe get in contact with you, what's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great place. I put a lot of content out. We have the Quivet Quanderer, which is our little newsletter, so sign up for that. There's also, if you get on our mailing list, we send out lots of tidbits on, how to show up when you don't want to show up, like how to lead when leading feels hard.
Mm,
Anyway, just lots of things about how to be human in this in this great work land. Um, and then quivetconsulting.com is the website. There is a free work style assessment there. So if you're curious about, hey, how do I work? What are my tendencies? with my work style, go ahead and head over there and take that. Um, yeah, those are the best places.
Amazing. Good. Fantastic. Well, I definitely recommend, like I said earlier, guys, check out Larissa on the, whether it's LinkedIn or on the website that she mentioned there. Some great stuff just in the conversation we've had here that I know can help you out in what you're doing in your business. So, or in your professional life, whatever she might be able to help you with. So, Larissa, thanks so much for being on the show. Been a great pleasure having you on. Really appreciate your time and just sharing your experience and wisdoms and challenges you've had in your business up to this date. And as a reminder for everyone listening, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everybody hates. To find out more, try to message me on LinkedIn, have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn. The link to that will be in the show notes below. And until next episode, stay inspired.